So the Dallas Cowboys went up against the New Orleans Saints, and the Saints came out and absolutely kicked their ass. And today we're going to break down exactly what happened on the Dallas Cowboys defensive side, because it's just the little things that need to be cleaned up. Also, I do want to state this before we get into this video. Dallas Cowboys fans overlooked the New Orleans Saints, and I don't think it was just the fans. I think the team overlooked the Saints as well. And I know generally speaking, you're not supposed to overlook a team, but the Saints are really, really good on offense this year. And a big part of that is because their offensive coordinator, who comes directly from the Kyle Shanahan scheme, is a really, really good coach. You can tell just watching what the New Orleans Saints did on tape that this is basically what Kyle Shanahan does with the San Francisco 49ers. There's so many similarities between the two clubs, and I don't think the Dallas Cowboys were ready for essentially what happened. So let's go ahead and just get right into the tape. So we're going to just look at maybe 6 or 7 big plays and just talk about exactly what happened. We'll start with this 2nd and 9, 7-yard run. To me, this one's just basic gap containment, specifically by Micah Parsons. Parsons obviously thought this run was going to go to the left. He comes down, and essentially the play ends up coming back towards the right. And he's not in the gap, and he's not there to ultimately contain this play. This one went for about 7.5 yards. And again, it's just basic stuff. If you keep an eye on Parsons here, he has outside containment. So any play that's potentially going to come back towards the right, it is for Micah Parsons to be able to see that and blow it up. And on this one here, you're going to get Taysom Hill, the fullback / tight end on this play. He's going to initially start blocking towards the left. You also get Palicia Fuaga here, the left tackle, to also kind of block down. And I think based off of what those two guys end up doing, you also get the left guard to ultimately pull towards the left of your screen. When all of that happens, Micah Parsons automatically just assumes this is a play towards the left. And you can tell he turns his eyes towards the backfield, and he ends up just not recognizing the fact that number 7 is faking to the left, and he's going to spin back out towards the right. He just doesn't see it happening, right? And this is just basic stuff, right? Not being able to recognize that there's a trick play potentially coming. And these are the things you just got to clean up, right? It's not a huge deal. At the end of the day, the Dallas Cowboys know what happened in this game, and when they play the New Orleans Saints in the playoffs, things could be a lot different when that time comes. But keep in mind, there were a lot of explosive plays that the Dallas Cowboys were not able to stop. And we're going to talk about that, including this play right here, which is considered the Yankee concept. The Dallas Cowboys fell for this one multiple times. So essentially, you're going to get a deep cross paired with a post. And it's a very difficult play to stop if you're in a cover 3 or a cover 1. And in this instance, the Cowboys are going to be in one of those defenses, and you can tell because of the fact that you only have one safety on the field. So if you're in cover 1 and this guy runs across the middle of the field, it's going to be hard for a corner to be able to run with that. Especially considering the other wide receiver is going to take both this cornerback here as well as the safety here. So unless you have a cornerback that's going to be able to run with the wide receiver running a deep cross, it's a hard play to stop, especially in cover 1 or cover 3. And in this instance here, you're going to see Derek Carr's maybe get the ball out. Cornerback's not able to stick with the wide receiver, but this is the same play that killed the Dallas Cowboys multiple times, including this touchdown here to Shaheed. Now, this one's against a cover 2 look, and Shaheed's going to run with the safeties, and he just runs right by Donovan Wilson. And to me, you got to do a better job as a safety to stay over the top. Dallas Cowboys obviously see the play action. And not saying that the safeties necessarily fell for that play action, but if you guys keep an eye on Donovan Wilson at the top of your screen, look at how he opens up his hips, and it almost seems like he's coming down right there before he ends up running back, and you'll see that Shaheed ends up just running right by him. He doesn't recognize the safety. This is a really, really good pass as well. But multiple times, it was just this one basic route combination. You got a guy coming across on a deep cross. This one's a dig route as opposed to a cross. But you get the post as well as the vertical route. It's not always a post, right? It really depends on if it's middle of the field closed as opposed to middle of the field open. But you just got another one. Same exact play, right? Same exact concept. Play action. Linebackers get sucked in, and you essentially just hit them right behind those linebackers. To me, this is basic stuff, but this play works, right? And it works especially against linebackers that are trying to come downhill, that are trying to stop the run. And it's just a very, very basic thing that the Cowboys could easily make an adjustment for. One of the ways to stop this play is for these cornerbacks, especially if you're going to play off coverage, to get your hands on these guys as they come into their routes. This style of offense is really based on timing. The quarterback needs to get the ball out on time and he needs to deliver a nice pass. But if you're able to reroute those wide receivers, get your hands on them, make it hard for them to get out of their break, well, there's only 2 receivers running downfield. The quarterback really doesn't have a whole lot of options outside of that. So the back end guys have to do their job. And on this one, you're going to see the cornerback at the top do a really good job rerouting the wide receiver. The quarterback decides to throw it anyways and it gets intercepted because the timing's off on this one. So again, it's just making small little adjustments. Now, another thing within this play is there was a route concept that actually went for almost a touchdown. I think Olave got all the way down to the 1 yard line. If you're in cover 3, you got to get your guys back into the vertical hooks. So keep an eye on the receiver at the bottom of your screen. He's going to fake towards the inside and he's going to end up hitting an out route. And if the safeties get underneath it, especially in zone coverage, you'll be able to shut that route down as well. This one's going to go for a 57-yard touchdown by Alvin Kamara. This is really just, it's a good call at a good time, and it's executed well as well. To me, when I look at this play here, when I look at the New Orleans Saints offense, generally speaking, it's very, very well executed. The offensive linemen up front are doing a good job. They know what they have to do, and they're making it happen. To me, on this one, DeMarcus Lawrence is going to end up swimming over the top of, I think this is Lucas Patrick, the left guard. And he doesn't recognize that there's actually a screen coming underneath him. You can tell that as he swims over Patrick here, he's going to end up going right towards the quarterback. He doesn't feel that a screen's coming. He thinks he ends up just swimming over Patrick. But with that, you're going to throw a screen right underneath that. And you just don't have the pursuit, right? All the guys are trying to get after the quarterback, essentially. And you're also blitzing. You can see that you're going to end up bringing about 2 extra guys on this one. And Kamara's going to just slip right underneath all that. He's going to catch it, and he basically goes untouched. To me, this is a good call in the exact moment that Mike Zimmer sends a blitz. To take it a step further, talk a little bit about Clint Kubiak. The guy knows what he's doing. I mean, this play right here is one of the best plays I think I've seen this year. Just a phenomenal play. It doesn't count because there was an ineligible player downfield, essentially. But, I mean, just look at how well executed this play is. Keep an eye on the tight end Foster Moreau. He's essentially going to slip out of there, but no one really sees this essentially coming, right? You see the linebackers don't recognize this. The corner or safety don't even recognize this play. One of them actually ends up getting out of their zone coverage. You're going to get a corner here that's going to actually run across the field, which is the right thing to do. This is cover 3. Safety has the vertical hook. Safety's not even going to be able to see this one. So on this one, you have to do a better job. Right, you see the safety here gets sucked in with Alvin Kamara. He's not sure if there's some sort of screen coming. This is his responsibility to be able to get back. And you'll see Foster Moreau just slips right by there. And this is another touchdown. Obviously, this one doesn't count. But again, it's a nicely executed play. And this is a hard thing to stop. One of the things Dallas Cowboys fans have to recognize is this is not the same New Orleans Saints team that we saw last year. It's a completely different offensive coach, and it's a coach that again comes from the Kyle Shanahan tree. And you see all the similarities, right? You see all the motions, you see all the different eye candy that's essentially going on with all the different counters, the different wide zone concepts. This is going to be a very, very difficult offense to stop, but I will say this, the Clint Kubiak offense is not absolutely impossible to stop. I think there's a way to approach this offense. And I think the Dallas Cowboys, the next time they play the Saints, will be a lot more ready for this entire offense. I don't think this game's going to end up the way it was this time around. I am confident that the Dallas Cowboys will be ready essentially for this team the next time this game happens, right? Guys just got to do a better job staying in their run fits. You see little things like linebackers not being able to stay within their gap containment. On this one here, you get a guy to essentially motion this way, which means the defense needs to essentially come down towards the right. Parsons is going to set the edge. Overshown's not going to be able to get into the B gap here. He's going to end up getting blocked here by the guard. And when that happens, when Overshown's not able to stick in that run fit, Kamara just hits that exact gap, right? He just ends up running this, and he's going to score a 12-yard touchdown on this one. So again, run fits is one of those things that's going to be key for the Dallas Cowboys as we go forward. And then at the end of the day, these guys just got to step up. These guys just got to be able to cover guys, and they got to be able to make plays on the football because against the Saints, these guys were not ready. And I do think the Dallas Cowboys are young on the defensive side, so that's going to be another element that you have to add. You know, if you're a young defense the way the Cowboys are, especially at certain positions, you might have some struggles, and with the Cowboys, that's definitely the case. At the linebacker position, the Cowboys are very, very young. They're relying heavily on guys like DeMarvion Overshown, Maris Leofau, Damone Clark. Yes, they got Kendricks, but a lot of the guys that are rotating in are really, really young. You know, Mosley Smith actually has looked a lot better this year. We'll probably check in on him next week after we have about 3 games worth of tape. I think the Dallas Cowboys will bounce back. Do not be upset about this game for the Cowboys fan, right? This is a good offensive coordinator. It's designed a perfect game plan against the Mike Zimmer defense. I don't think there's flaws with the Mike Zimmer defense either. I think the Cowboys will bounce back against the Baltimore Ravens next week. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Of course, it was a little bit different. Not as much detail in terms of the breakdown. But I did want to just talk about the defense as a whole, right? Because it does have to get better. Run fit's got to get better. Players individually have to get a lot better, right? Got to be able to shut down guys that you're covering, be able to make plays on the football. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time with another video.